Hello again. Welcome back to Mountain Life Fitness Yoga with Christy. I have decided that it is my goal to teach people how to incorporate yoga into their daily lives. I know a lot of people only get around to doing yoga when they can go to a class, but I am here to tell you that you can do yoga at home all the time. So today's class is yoga for television. We've all probably, I'm assuming that you guys are like me, where we've been watching a lot more Netflix than usual. So I'm going to teach you a couple things that you can do while watching your favorite episodes of whatever. I've been watching Longmire. So just things that you can do on the floor while you're watching TV to bring your body into a happier state. Sitting on the couch is not always very, very good for our bodies. So get yourself on the floor, set up your mat facing the TV, and we'll begin. If you have a strap or even like a belt or a bathrobe belt, something like that, that would be great. Even long socks can sometimes work. So we're just gonna start with our legs gently crossed. Doesn't matter which foot is on top. So when you're just you just hit play on Netflix and we're gonna start settling it. So shrug your shoulders up, back and down a couple times. Of course, you could be doing this without a television also, but just a few suggestions of how to make your body feel better. Let your head or your elbows hang heavy, and then just let your head hang down towards your chest for a moment and start to make big circles. Go in both directions. Look left and right. And then just slowly come to the center, bring your arms forward, and try to keep your gaze on the television, long straight spine, and walk your hands forward. So only go as far as you can go with a nice straight spine, reaching forward with your heart. And just breathe. So your hands can be really far in front of you. I like to tent my fingers so that my palms are up, and that just gives me a little bit of a finger exercise. It makes my arms stay engaged. It also helps separate across my shoulder blades. All good things. You should sort of feel this in your hips. Probably the hip of the top leg feels it the most. Stay here for a few breaths. You might notice after a breath or two that you can reach farther forward. And then if there's nothing important going on the TV, you can relax your head down. And as you breathe here, just keep pulling your breath deep down, lower into your lower back, filling up your full torso with the expansion of your organs as your lungs push them around as you breathe in deeper. Any of these postures you can stay in for as long as you like, but we're going to move on slowly, walking our hands back towards our bodies. Shake out your wrists, roll them around a little bit, and just place your hands behind you with your fingertips pointing either out or back towards the wall behind you, and just give yourself a little back bend. Stretch through your throat. Come back up to center, switch out your legs so the opposite leg is on top. Bring your hands forward, and we're gonna do the same thing. Just walk your hands forward nice and slow with a long straight spine. So like your heart is reaching towards the wall in front of you. Pause where you start to feel sensation. Maybe push your fingertips into the ground even more to strengthen them. This will help as we get older. We want stronger fingers, so let's work on them a little bit. Pull back through your shoulder blades. Pull your ears away from your shoulders and vice versa. Find the strong sensation and settle in. Maybe that means you have to walk your hands a little farther forward. Keep pushing back gently with your tailbone and pulling forward gently with your heart. And if you like, you can lower your head towards the ground. Feel the full length of your spine. And as you just breathe here, notice if you can let go somewhere that you're holding on to tension. For me, my right leg is on top, and I'm feeling tension in my left leg, like I'm clenching it so that I feel like I need it for balance or to stay still, but I don't. So I'm going to keep encouraging that leg to relax. I'm also encouraging the muscles that are feeling the strong sensation to just let go. And slowly start to walk yourself back up towards center. Make fists and open them a couple times, roll your wrists. We'll do a couple more things seated with crossed legs. So start, bring your legs forward, cross your right leg over your left so that you're crossed at the knee. And we're gonna go into Gomukhasana, which is cow face pose. So that might mean that you only can go this far because it's an intense hip and leg stretch. But you wanna separate your legs wide and try to get them even with each other. Eventually you start pulling them back closer and closer towards your hips, but you wanna try to keep one knee stacked on top of the other. You can bring your hands to your feet, straighten your spine, and really press down through both sit bones as you reach up through the crown of your head. We're gonna rest here for a little while. So a couple options with your arms. Actually, we'll just do arms crossed in front. So you're gonna cross them kind of the same, right elbow on top of left elbow into bear hug. So you can just gently let your elbows sink down, and you can give yourself a shoulder massage while you're here. Try to keep your weight of your body just slightly back so that your core turns on to keep you upright, and settle into the sensations. We're gonna stay here a little longer, but do a different arm variation. So grab your strap. And we're going to bring right arm up and left arm down. So strap will be in your right arm, and you just need a length of strap. It doesn't need to be in any specific fold. You're gonna bring your right arm up, bring your left palm back behind you, bring it behind so that the fingers and the back of your hand are at your back, and you're just gonna lower the strap to gently start inching your fingers towards each other. So I'll turn around so you can see what this looks like. So if your fingers easily come together, go ahead and interlace your fingers. Mine do not. So you want your right elbow pointing up and your left elbow pointing down. You want to maintain that feeling of slightly leaning back so that your spine is long. You can also, you don't want to be leaning forward, you want to be straight up, and then you gently press your head into the right arm or wrist. And we'll just settle in here for a little while. Keep squeezing your belly button in towards your spine. You notice if your back is bent a little, and try to pull your top ribs in to knit them a little closer to your hip flexor or hip bone. So as with any posture when you're doing your yoga at home, you can stay here for as long as you like. But you do want to make sure that we give both sides equal attention, that yoking of your body one side to the other. So when you're ready to release, start by releasing your left arm down, relax it, bring your right arm up towards the ceiling, let it go out and down. And before we do the other side, shrug your shoulders a couple times. Bring your hands back behind you again, stretch your legs forward, give yourself a little back bend, point and flex your toes, let your legs wiggle out. Come up and then we'll do the other side. Cross your left knee over your right knee. Bend your knees, start to bring them to the side, and then you might stay here. You might be able to bring them back a little farther. You will probably notice that it's different on this side than it was on the other. Let's start to settle in. You can have your hands on your feet or legs to start. Take a couple breaths. Try to keep both hips even on the floor, so you're not leaning over to the right to let your left hip pop up. And we'll start by crossing our arms forward in a bear hug. So left arm over right. Bring your elbows together, let them hang heavy, and then give yourself a little shoulder massage, start to settle in. Lean your weight slightly back so that your shoulders come over your hips. And let's touch back with our breath. Relax your jaw so that you're not holding your throat. And let your breath come long and slow, in through the nose and out through the nose. Filling your whole belly, as if the air could fill up your whole torso and wasn't restricted to your lungs. Start to release your arms. And as always, if you're starting to feel too much strong sensation in your legs, you can relax out a little bit. Place your strap loosely in your left hand. Start to bring that arm up and let the strap hang behind your head. Rotate your right palm back, bend your elbow, and find your grip on the strap. So you can adjust as you need to get the grip, but then come back to the integrity of your spine. Long, straight back, shoulders over hips. Left elbow pointing up, right elbow pointing down. Not arching your back, but tucking your ribs gently in and pressing your head lightly into your left hand or forearm. And then just breathe here. Notice after a few breaths, maybe you can inch your fingers a little closer to each other. Try to relax your shoulders. And you want to stay on this side approximately as long as you stayed on the other. This is a good time for me to point out that if you're nursing any injuries, so say you have a stiff left shoulder and you wanted to do something else, don't modify or don't do it big on your right side and small on your left. If you have an injury on one side, modify for both sides. That way you will not be building up more flexibility in one side as you tighten up the other. And that's just gonna help your body heal through injury more evenly without creating an imbalance. That being said, it's about time to release. So start to release your right arm down, left arm up. Let them come down, shrug your shoulders, let your legs inch forward. Ooh, stretch them out. Wiggle your hips a little from side to side. Give yourself a little back bend. Give yourself as many back bends throughout the day as you can. With your hands still behind you, let your legs bend, feet a little wider than hips width distance, and just let your legs rainbow from side to side a couple times. And you're really doing this to feel the full range of motion of your thighs, so go real slow. Start with your right leg going up, and don't let your left leg move until it's pulled over by the motion of your right leg. Do that a few times on each side. I probably spend 10 minutes every day just doing these. Even yourself out so that you feel like you've done both sides the same, and then come forward with your feet together, so Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. Your feet can be far away so that it's a long diamond shape, or they can be closer so that it's a wide diamond shape. That just depends on your body. Shift your weight and pull the flesh out from under your sit bones. Bring your hands to rest on your shins or your ankles, and just give yourself a few backward bends and forward folds. So you're gonna not fold forward completely yet, but just push your spine back, tuck your chin, gaze towards your belly. We're just lengthening through the spine here a couple times, just for fluidity. And then coming back through the center, we're gonna just hinge forward and rest forward. So this can be a very restful pose. That might mean that you just hinge forward a little bit with your arms longer or straighter for support. Maybe that means you bring your elbows down to your ankles or elbows down to the floor in front. And as you do this, we're gonna rest here for a few moments. So you might notice when you come down that it's not as comfortable, and maybe you want to change the diamond shape of your legs to make it wider or longer. If this is like no big deal and you want to get a little more pretzel about it, take your hands, slide them under your legs, bring your palms to the outside of your feet, adjust your hips however they need to be, and bring your elbows to the floor. So from here, you can keep reaching your heart forward. If you were watching TV, you can still be looking up. Another option is to just rest forward and try to encourage the forehead towards the soles of your feet. Wherever you're at, breathe deep into your lower belly. Feel your back expand with each inhalation. If your spine is long and you're reaching and looking forward, pull back with your elbows and shoulders to pull your heart forward. If you're resting your head, do the opposite. Roll your spine, push up with your shoulder blades and down with your head. Notice if you've gone too far and you'd like to come out a little bit, come up a little. You can make adjustments. And again, if you're just doing this at home without a video, you can stay as long as you like. But we're gonna move on a little, so come up a little and just rock up a bit from side to side. Start to make kind of circular motions with your torso in space. Maybe incorporate your neck, let it roll with your body. And then go the other direction. And slowly make your way up to center. From here, keep your left leg bent and extend your right leg forward. So you can leave your left leg where it is or pull it in closer to your thigh. Give yourself a little massage behind your right knee. Let your foot rotate around a couple times. And we're gonna do just an easy forward fold. So you can have your knee bent as much as you like, but we're gonna try to keep a straight spine. So rotate your torso so that it's directly pointing towards your extended front leg. And just slide down. So you can get to where your belly touches your thigh, so you might need to bend your leg a whole bunch. From here, it's always a good idea to give yourself a little foot rub. Maybe this is no big deal, so you want to extend your leg farther. Wherever you're at, start to flex your foot back towards your face. You can even use your hand to gently encourage that. You can pull back gently on your toes and start to stretch out the fascia on the sole of your foot. You can use your hands to make this a little more intense by pulling back with your hands as you push forward with your heel. You want your heel to be the farthest thing away from your body. Notice if you're creating too much tension behind your knee and bend it a little, if necessary. We'll just breathe here for a few breaths. If you'd like to release forward, you can tuck your chin, lengthen your spine one more time, and then roll forward, tucking your forehead towards your knee. Breathing deep in through the nose and out through the nose. Slowly start to raise your head. In your daytime or in your normal practice at home, you can hang out it like that for 10 minutes if you want. Come back up. We're going to keep our left leg bent in front of us and just bend your right leg back behind you. And we'll just go into a twist here. So we're going to rotate over our left leg, hands to the floor, right hip can pop up, and just give yourself a big twist, gaze back over your left shoulder. And then we'll just gently go into the other side, roll back forward, bend your right leg in front, extend your left leg forward. Give yourself a little massage behind your left knee. Situate yourself to do the same on the other side. So maybe start with a bent leg that's super bent. And slide your hands forward and start with a long straight spine. So bend your knee as much as you need to get your belly to your thigh. And again, give yourself a little foot massage here. If this is no big deal, keep your spine straight, but extend your leg forward longer towards straight. And then we'll hang out here for a little while. So push forward through your heel. Try to imitate what you did on this side, on the other side with this side. Maybe pull your toes back towards your body a little. Maybe use your hands to pull your heart forward, soften your knee maybe. Elbows bent. Maybe you'd like to tuck your chin, curve your spine, and roll your forehead towards your knee. Wherever you're at, try to relax the muscles closest to the floor. Keep encouraging your right shoulder forward and down so you're not opening up to the side. We'll do a little side opening in a moment, but this is not it. Pull your shoulders back away from your ears. Maybe relax forward more for a couple breaths. Maybe you've gone a little too deep and you need to bend your knees so that you can keep flexing your toes back towards your shin and pushing forward with your heel. Finish the breath you're on and stay for one more. Gently come back up to seated. Keep your right leg bent in front of you. Pick up your left knee, bend your knee, and rotate your heel behind you. And then just roll over your right leg. Long straight spine, start to twist. Feel a release in your lower back as you gaze over your right shoulder. Come back to center. Bring your hands behind you, legs forward, feet on the floor. And then again, just rainbow your legs from side to side. Maybe this time your feet are closer together. Maybe they're wider. Just see what feels good. And as you do this, you can squeeze your shoulders together so you're not just hanging out like you're in a hammock. You're pushing up with your heart and compressing your shoulders behind you. Creating tension that will release, and it will feel good when we release it. Slowly come back up towards the center. Extend your legs long in front of you and just shake them out. Let your feet flop from side to side. We'll do another leg cross hip opener here. So I like to call this Lincoln log legs. Basically, your front leg, just pick one, put your foot on the ground, or your leg on the ground, and you want your shin to be parallel to the front of your mat, and then cross the other leg over. So heel and ankle on top of knee. And in theory, the other knee is over the heel and ankle. That might mean you look like this, or even higher. And we just slowly start to relax into it, but instead of completely relaxing, you want to flex your toes back towards your face, push out through your heels. Then you can gently place your arms on your upper leg for a little bit of weight. You don't want to push, don't create too much tension, but just rest. And from here you can lean slightly forward if you want a little bit more of an intense hip stretch, Or you can lean slightly back if you want a little bit more of a gentle release. Maybe you want to rock forward and back. I recommend sitting in this posture for at least 5 minutes on each side. It can be a really nice release at the end. But for our purposes here today, we're just going to stay for 1 or 2 more breaths. Gently moving through space or holding stillness, whichever serves you better. And then slowly bring your hands behind you. Once again, stretch your legs forward with your legs a little wider and just let them flop around for a second. And then we'll do the other side. Put the other leg on the ground, shin parallel to the front of the mat. Cross ankle over knee, situate knee over ankle, and start to settle in. I should have mentioned on the other side, this is a good place to use props. So you can place a pillow under one or both knees to create a little more stability so that you can rest into it and release your muscles a little more. If you're tense and you're holding and clenching, it's not going to be as beneficial. So if this is more uncomfortable and you need assistance relaxing, place a pillow or a block or a shoe, whatever you have handy under one or both knees. Flex your toes back towards you. Let your hands rest on your shins. And then if you did so on the other side, do the same. Rock gently forward and back. You can sort of incorporate a little cat-cow motion here, the cat, like arching your back like you do in cow pose, rolling back as you do in cat pose. Just any little movements that feel good. Try to relax your shoulders. It's always a good time to give yourself some neck rolls, maybe look from side to side, do figure eights with your neck. And finish the breath that you're on and complete one more long, slow breath cycle in this posture. And from here, we're going to extend your right leg out towards the side. So you might need to move around a little bit. You want, if the couch is behind you, you want your leg parallel with the couch. And we're going to do a side bend. Excuse me. So right leg is long, left leg is bent. You can also bend your right knee. So the idea here is that we're going to be torso facing the front of the room, leg pointing out to the side. So your right arm can come to the inside, and you're really going to kind of press your arm into that to give yourself the initial twist so that your torso is forward. Keep flexing your foot so that your heel is again trying to push as far away from you as possible. And then just bring your left arm up, and we're going to arch up and over. So you're really feeling a long stretch across your left side body and more of a compression in your right hip and right side body. Elbow can come to the inside of knee and press gently to keep your heart rotating towards the ceiling a little as your torso stays forward. You can move your left arm up and around through space a few times in big circling motions. You can let your head relax, or you can keep it in line with your spine. Relaxing would be more of a neck stretch. Neck strengthening would be keeping your spine or your head long at the end of your spine. Take another moment to rotate your arm around, opening up the shoulder. And then bring the back of your hand to the small of your back. Press it in to open up your heart towards the sky and pull your left shoulder back towards the wall behind you. Re-engage your right leg. And then maybe look up towards the ceiling. You can even bring your gaze forward and down and forward and up. And then try to relax your left thigh. Hinge a little farther over your right leg. Release your left arm up and rotate it up and over as if you were trying to reach across you to your toes, but your arm still stays above. Keep engaging with your right arm so that your torso stays squared towards the front of the room. Stay for one more full breath cycle here. Try to release on an inhale. Pull yourself back up to standing, or seated rather. And then just bring your right hand to your left knee and give yourself a little twist release. Rotate your torso towards the center. Switch out your legs. Right leg crosses in front. Left leg goes out to the side. Give yourself a moment to get situated. Bend your knee if you like. Start to press your left arm into the front of your left leg. Rotate your torso forward. You can straighten your leg more if you like, or bend it more, but just keep pointing your toes up pushing out through your heel. Start to inhale your left arm up, and as you exhale, or your right arm up rather, hinge over your leg. And remember, we're gonna be here for a little while, so settle in slowly. Keep rotating your heart towards the sky, and then make big movements in space with your right arm. Ground down through both hips. Head can relax, neck could be engaged. Just keep trying to keep your torso squared forward. Loosen up through your right shoulder, big movements. Try going in all directions. Slow down your breath. And then slowly rotate your right palm towards the back of the room. Bend your elbow, bring the back of your hand to your sacrum, lower spine. Shrug your shoulder back and up. Rotate your heart towards the sky. Maybe experiment with straightening your front leg a little more and hinging a little deeper. Gaze up towards the ceiling, maybe forward and down, rotating your neck. Notice if you can relax the muscles closest to the floor. And then hinge a little deeper. Start to release your arm. Inhale your right arm up and exhale it over and down. And stay here for a couple breaths. Keep pressing your left arm into your left leg to rotate your torso forward. Feel the compression on your left side and the stretch on your right. Use an inhalation to pull yourself back up nice and slow. And then just gently left hand to right leg and give yourself a little twist. Bring your body forward. Gently pull your feet in front of you and just let your spine have a moment to realign forward. So your hands can be wrapped around your shins. You can wrap your elbows around. And just let your spine be long and straight. Pull your belly towards your thighs. Maybe pull your knees up in closer. And while you're curled up into a ball, try to straighten your back also. This is going to be a different hip stretch. You might feel it in the very, very front hip crease. But squeeze, either pull your thighs towards you with your hands or squeeze your elbows in and try to straighten your spine with your belly attached to your thighs. And then slowly curl into a ball. Wrap your nose towards your knees. Give yourself a tight hug. Curve your spine as deeply as you can. And then release up. Walk your feet forward into a long straight leg and then open them up to the side. Release the flesh out from under your sit bones. And from here you can bend or straighten your legs as much as you like. Bring your hands forward and just walk your hands forward. Here is another good place for pillows or a block or some sort of support. I like to just rest with my legs wide. Push out through your heels, flex your toes back so you can even bend your knees. But just start to rest forward and find a place where you can maybe bring your elbows down to the floor or a block or a cushion. And eventually you can just rest your head in your hands. Maybe that means that you're elevated up higher on a block or cushion. But just start to try to relax as much as you can. Stop flexing your toes back towards you and just let them relax. But let your pinky toes hang heavier so that your feet gently rotate. Your thighs are rotating back. Pinky toes hanging heavier than big toes. This is a good place to just chill for a while. If you wanted to relax a little bit more, maybe Netflix is loading the next episode, you can relax your head forward and down. And remember, as you're here, you can start with your legs bent a whole bunch. Maybe that feels better on your hips and your hamstrings. But after you've been in a position for 5 breaths, maybe 6, just experiment. See if you can loosen up. And keep sending your breath back to the areas that you feel tension. Can you release the tension? I'm feeling it in my hamstrings and behind my knees. So I'm sending each inhalation to that area and encouraging the air that's not really there to let the muscles open up. Breathe into your areas of sensation. Breathe out the tension. And as always with yoga, if you've been resting on one hand, bring your other hand. We always want to try to equal out, even out to equal on the same sides. Or the same on different sides. I'm having a hard time talking through quarantine. Now, when you've been here long enough, slowly start to walk yourself back up to seated. Use your hands to pull your legs in so that it's a passive movement with your legs. And from here, wrap your arms underneath your thighs, curl and scrunch your shoulders up into your ears.
Curl as tight as you can. Maybe squeeze your legs back so that you're pressing your calves and your thighs on your arms, so you're squeezing them. Flex your toes back and then flex your feet back and then curl your toes. Shrug your shoulders. Try to stretch out the back of your spine as much as you can and tense up every single muscle in your body as hard as you can. Squeeze tight. Take another big breath in and then release. That should have been a little bit of a nice massage on the backs of your thighs from the stretching that we just did, but take a moment to use your hands to do more. And then gently bring your legs forward in whatever leg cross feels good to you. Roll forward onto your hands and knees. And just do a couple rounds of cats and cows. Opening up your whole length of your spine. Really feeling it. Initiate the movement with your tailbone and feel it ripple all the way up to the back of your neck and to your head. And again for the other direction. Really feeling space in your spine. Come back towards a neutral spine and then walk your hands forward and find like a downward puppy. So your hips are up and they're stacked over your knees, but you're stretching your arms forward and letting your torso, your belly reach towards your thighs and your heart towards the floor. Stay here, reach your fingers forward and press your palms into the ground. You can gaze up or you can rest your forehead on the mat. We'll stay here for just a couple breaths. Squeeze your thighs in towards each other for support. You can always curl your toes under just for a little foot stretch. Slowly rise back up. Walk your hands back under your shoulders. Do another round of cats and cows. Maybe let your hips sway a little from side to side. Come back towards center and sit back on your heels. So you can have your feet curled under if you want a foot stretch. This is also a nice Achilles and calf stretch, but it can be quite intense. So if you don't like that, or if you get sick of it, you can uncurl your toes and just sit on your heels. From here, bring your hands back behind you. Squeeze your thighs together. Push your hands into the floor. Push your hips up. Let your heart go up. And we're just going to raise and lower like this a few times. Your gaze can be forward or it can be towards the ceiling. But press your shins and your toenails into the mat. Squeeze your knees towards each other. Raise your thighs, feel some stretch. Maybe walk your hands back a little farther, squeeze your shoulder blades towards each other. If you feel pinching in your knees, come up closer, hands closer towards your body. And then we'll try hero's pose. So this, instead of sitting on your heels, you keep your knees together, you separate your feet on the outsides of your hips and sit back down. So if your hips don't go to the floor, sit on a pillow or a block. And be really cognizant of your knees here. You want to make sure that you're not feeling too much pinching or any pain. So maybe you have to sit on a block, that's totally great. Or maybe you can relax your feet, your hips down in between your feet. This is a good time to give yourself a little bit of a foot massage. I like to take the top of my fist and just roll it around on the sole of my foot. And from here, raise up a little, stretch your tailbone forward and sit back down. Keep squeezing your thighs towards each other and keep pressing down with the tops of your feet and your toenails. Walk your hands back behind you and just start to rest in. So if you're on a block or a cushion, don't go back any farther than this. Start to arch your back. You can compress your shoulders towards each other and just rest for a while. This is a really intense knee stretch. If you have previous knee injuries and this is not working out for you, don't do it. Do something else, modify for yourself. You could just sit however you like, really. Come up to relieve a little tension maybe and sit back down. If this is like no big deal and you want to go more full into into warrior, you can lower down onto your elbows. Try to keep your knees together. Try to keep stretching your tailbone forward, so it's like tucking your tail. You can arch your back more, squeeze your elbows towards each other. And eventually, if you like, you can rest back. You can lower down. Maybe your shoulders can come to the ground, but you do want to keep an arch in your lower back. Keep stretching your knees forward. Legs are active here, not quite passive. And when you're ready to come out, bring your gaze forward, walk up. The release of this is going to feel really good. Walk your hands forward, and then step your feet either back to plank, slowly, or to down dog. So this is just going to release the blood flow back through your legs. Feel it coming into your feet. Maybe you really need to do a good 30 seconds in plank today to turn on your core. Maybe you need a little more of a proactive moment here. I know I do. There's one good thing about Hero's Pose, one of the good things. It can be a very healing posture for your knees. So bring your legs down forward, come out of plank, and just release your legs forward. Take a moment to massage all the way down the fronts of your legs and back up high, and then on the backs. Gently cross your legs forward, doesn't matter which one's on top. Bring your arms wide, and then cross whichever leg is on top, cross that elbow on top. And then wrap up your arms. You can either do bear hug, or you can do eagle arms, Garudasana. Wherever you're at, start to squeeze your right arm right and your left arm left. Pull your elbows down a little towards your belly. You can make a fist so that you can see past your fingers, or you can bring your fingers tall and try to divide your vision on both sides of your fingers. Try to sit up nice and straight and just keep squeezing. So you're really feeling a stretch across the back of your shoulders and a compression across the front of your collarbone and your elbows. This is similar to what we just did with our knees as far as cutting off the blood flow. So we're creating like a tourniquet effect, so that when we release it, it's like releasing a fire hose. Fresh blood is forcefully released, which means that it shoots forward through its pathway, releasing old energy, pushing old energy out and bringing in fresh new blood. When your next exhale comes, slowly start to release your arms and go real slow. Unwind. Bring your arms out wide and take a moment to just rotate your shoulders forward and back. And then we'll do the other side. Cross the opposite leg on top. Whatever leg is on top, that arm crosses over, cross at the elbows. Wrap it up, either bear hug or eagle. Squeeze your right arm right and your left arm left. Pull your elbows down. Lean back just slightly so you can notice how that turns your core on. Keep your core long and strong to support your posture. Keep breathing. Decide what you want to do with your hands, either palms together, or maybe you're just backs of your hands together. Maybe you're making a fist so that you can see past your hand. Stay for 2 more breaths. Notice where you're holding tension. Can you relax your thighs a little more so that your core is forced to turn on and keep you upright? At the end of your next breath, slowly exhale your arms, gently, slowly unwind. Release your arms and rotate your shoulders forward and back a couple times. And then bring your hands back to clasp behind you. So you can clasp for opposite elbows. You can interlace your fingers and squeeze your palms together, arms down towards the floor. Or you can just reach back, whatever feels most accessible to you. And as you pull your arms towards each other, release across your collarbone. Squeeze your shoulder blades towards each other and try to open up as much as you can across your collarbone and heart space. Stay for a couple breaths here. If you have your if you have your arms locked, after a couple breaths, rotate them so that the other arm is on top. If your fingers are clasped, just rearrange your fingers so the awkward thumb is on top. And then start to just make a couple rounds of neck rolls. And come to center, release your arms. Place your left hand on the floor and just inhale your right arm up and over. You can bend a lot, you can stay more upright, but press your left arm into the ground so that you can keep your right hip on the floor. And just explore this stretch. If you like, again, you can make big movements in space with your arm, or you can just reach towards the wall away from you. After a couple breaths, come up and do the other side. Mimic what you did on the other side on this side. And after a couple breaths, come up. Flip the cross of your legs, and we'll just do one more little twist. So start to twist over to the left, right hand on left leg. Inhale to lengthen up your spine, and exhale to twist. Stay for 3 full breaths. Notice if you're holding your hips up, try to relax them back down. Spine is long and straight. When you're ready, exhale forward. Take a breath in to lengthen your spine. Twist to the other direction. Hips are even on the floor. Belly button is hugging in towards the midsection. Shoulders are pulling away from ears. Exhale forward. Bring your hands to your heart. And then just enjoy the rest of your day however you like. If you watch more TV, do this the whole time. Namaste. If you're looking for more yoga, look in the archives. I know that we have built up a small arsenal of yoga classes. So I hope you guys are all staying well. I miss you. I cannot wait to have people in this gym again. So hopefully that happens soon. We will keep you posted. Jackie's got emails going and she's working on a plan. Bye guys.